Yes, yes, you're audible. You're audible.
Okay.
We'll check whether the presentation is sharing or not. So
Yes,
check for the presentation.
I'm sharing it.
Okay.
Hmm. Can you confirm, Lata ma'am, if the presentation is
Yeah,
seen?
yeah, presentation shared. It's displaying.
Okay.
Forming urban mobility smart traffic management.
Thank you.
Can
Thank
we
you, ma'am.
start?
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Srividya,
Can I start?
1 minute, ma'am, 1 minute. Srividya, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I think Divya ma'am is not there. Just 1 second,
Okay.
ma'am. 1 second.
Okay, we'll start. Good evening, Mamta.
Good evening, Lata ma'am.
Today, Atal online faculty development program on the title Innovative Solutions for Smart Cities, Enhancing Mobility and Urban Sustainability. Our past 4 days, various topics has been discussed in our faculty development program like smart city ecosystems integrating technology and community, hydrogen energy-based mobility and backup power applications, cybersecurity and privacy in smart cities, solutions for waste management, harnessing big data analytics to optimize urban planning in smart cities, and then digital platforms for reporting urban issues and civic management, and then the vehicle to grid technology, and then role of 5G in building smarter sustainable cities. And the last session was handled by Dr. K. Srinivas Reddy from IIT. He handled the session like empowering smart environment through renewable energy integration. And now Mamta Shri is going to share the session like smart traffic management, transforming urban mobility to smart traffic management. She has got 18 years of experience and she is working currently in HP R&D. And the current position of Mamta Shri is project manager, and her area of interest are process improvement, AI, and then risk management. She has completed BA Computer Science and now present she is pursuing MBA. And her personal motto is a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step. And with this small intro, ask Mamta Shri to continue the session. I'm handing over the session to you, Mamta.
Thank you, Lata ma'am. Hi, everybody. So, to start off today's topic, I know this has been a long session for you guys, so I'll try to keep it as active as possible. Um, uh, Thank you so much. So today's topic is on smart traffic management, and here we will learn about, uh, especially on the innovative solutions, what modern urbanization, transportation challenges are, and how we can overcome it, and which countries have already started implementing this smart traffic management, what is the technology behind it. So these would be the key areas what we will be covering today. So before I start my presentation, I would want to go with this tagline, right? Every job is a climate job. Today, be it public sector, be it private sector, be it government sector, be it IT sector, right? So all the industry is thinking on sustainability, and any work, any job, any project planning they do, they are thinking about the climate. So hence, since our topic is also related to climate, I wanted to start with this quote: every job is a climate job. And today, every engineer, every in every company are triggered with the thought of any job you do, even designing, planning, anything we do. First and foremost, what we should think is on the climate. What is the impact we are creating on the climate, right? So, taking that as a quote, we will start on with today's topic. So, as I was introduced, I'm Mamta. I've been working with HP, and that's my current organization. And I have an overall 18 years of industry experience. Currently, my position is project manager. So, and my hobbies are traveling, hearing to music, cooking, and reading. And I've given my LinkedIn ID as well. So, quickly moving on to our presentation, right? So, on the overview, what we will be covering today would be the types of traffic, recent survey data on poor traffic conditions, key objectives, what is that we are going to achieve, right? And then introduction to smart traffic management, technologies enabling smart systems, benefits, challenges, future trends in traffic management. These are the key overview topics which we will be covering for in this session. Then types of traffic. So we all know what are the types of traffic we see and we in fact experience as well, right? So we have land traffic, water traffic, and air traffic. And all this kind of traffic over the years or in the recent past years, it has increased due to urbanization, globalization, and many such things, right? So where are we heading towards, right? So these are the couple of insights into the recent data. Okay, so in this we talk about the city motorist, how many days he will lose in the traffic on an average in a year. Okay, so in this we can see that city motorist loses around 8 days in a year on a road, extra time which will be spent on the traffic for 243 hours. And these are a couple of incidences which are real and which are brought out and which are made aware to the people. And there was also a survey which was done which talks about the congested cities in the India. And the top one stands is the Bangalore, top 4 is Chennai. Okay, so we know where the urbanization and globalization is heading towards, right? So as per the index, Bangalore tops the index for the most congested city. Mumbai is the second position, while Chennai follows in the 4th place. According to the recent research, which is published under US based organization, which is called NBER, National Bureau of Economic Researcher, they conducted based on the Google Maps. So this is the data which has been surveyed data. Then the next slide which we talk about is causes and impact of this poor traffic conditions inland, right? What are its causes and what is the impact on the commuters and environment? So when we see the causes of it, we know high vehicle density, right? The number of vehicles on the road far exceeds the capacity of the existing infrastructure. Whatever the size of our roads are, but we are exceeding the vehicle density over it, and inadequate public transportation. So we see that limited access to the efficient and reliable public transportation options forces people to own their own.
Hello.
Yes. Jyoti, are you there? Meeting.
So yes,
Good evening. Good evening, Jyoti.
Yeah, sorry, Lata and the people. So some small network issues. She's connecting back. We'll wait for 2 minutes, 30 seconds to 2 minutes. She'll be joining.
Okay, okay. No problem, no problem. Let her continue. We'll be waiting.
But this is a kind of a interesting topic, especially from the people we are in Bangalore, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So normally we'll be in more traffic. Yeah. Hi, Mamta.
She has joined.
Hello, sorry. So there was some issue. I am extremely sorry for that.
Go ahead, Mamta. Yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Just a minute.
Yeah. Causes that slide, Mamta.
Ah, right. So we were in the causes. So here, so inadequate public transportation. So we know that every places the public transportation cannot be given for every minute, right? So there is a limited access to the efficient and reliable public transport options forces more people to rely on their own vehicles. So we see the number of people who are buying motorcycles or cars have increased in the recent past years. And also we see the road infrastructure which is poorly maintained. Roads and inefficient expansion of road networks create traffic problems and traffic incidences, right? So we have accidents, breakdowns, construction work frequently causing delays and bottlenecks. So these are couple of causes and impact of poor traffic conditions. And then moving on to the impact. So we see that currently there is an increased travel time, extended commute times reduce the productivity and increase in the stress level among the commuters, and there is an increase in the air pollution. Vehicle emissions contributes to the air quality and degradation of the air quality, leading to the health problems of the commuters. And fuel consumptions, so in traffic, increasing the fuel, basically we spend a lot of time in the traffic, obviously we tend to burn fuel, and then there is an fuel consumption which is leading to the higher transportation cost for the individuals and businesses. So I have a couple of videos. Hello, Dr. Lata.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to hear the video if I play?
No, ma'am.
No, video is not displaying.
Video is not seen?
Yes.
You stop the sharing. Turn
Mamta,
on the sharing control.
you have to share and then you have to enable the audio in that down. One small button will be there. You have to enable.
Video you're able to see right now, correct?
No,
Yeah,
it is
the
coming to the
presentation.
presentation. Is there?
Okay. How about now, Jyoti? To see, Jyoti?
Video is playing, but sound and audible is not there, madam. Just you need to
Okay.
click.
Where should I click, sir? Layout, meeting info.
Including audio like that, one button will be there.
Where, Jyoti? Include switch audio.
There down one button will be there. Share also.
Share entire screen I did.
We are sharing that entire screen, no? That during that time, down one button, share audio like that one will be there.
Okay. Let me try.
If it is not that much
I
important,
got
we
it.
can
I got it, Jyoti. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Perfect.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Okay. Let me know if you are able to see this, and then here.
Since the Great Recession, that means more people on the road during your morning commute.
And new research out this morning how bad our traffic congestion really is. Mimi Jung joining us now with more. Mimi?
Stephen Joy, sorry to start your day with some bad news about traffic. Kirkland-based INRIX just released this global traffic scorecard. So here's what they found. More Americans are spending more time in their car, SUV, or truck. They've surpassed 3.2 trillion miles traveled last year, which is a record high. Now, Seattle is in the top 10, coming in at number 9. Tacoma is 16th, and Portland has the 12th worst traffic. Not only are we traveling more, we are stuck in traffic more. Commuters in Seattle lose an extra 55 hours a year on the road. The report also found that extra time stuck in traffic costs each driver $1,853. So who has it worst? In Western Washington, actually drivers in Everett, because of the infrastructure in that area, drivers there are stuck an extra 31 hours in traffic congestion a year. So who's the worst in the country for traffic congestion? No surprise here, LA is the top at the top of the list, not getting any better, and New York comes in second.
Right. So we could. Hello.
Mamta, one small suggestion. So go.
Okay, Jyoti. Videos we can stop and we can just go with the slides, correct?
Yes.
At last, we can go for video. First, we can complete the slide and then
Noted.
we'll go.
Noted, ma'am. Noted, ma'am.
Okay.
So based on the traffic conditions, congestions, we also saw the impact on the commuters, right? So we see that there is a increased travel time, there is an air pollution, and there is a fuel consumption, which will cost us more. Now moving on to, we learned about the land. So let's see what is happening at the end of oceans and sea. So we know that there is a congestion even oceans, right? There is a transportation, there is a high shipping volume because of the import-export increase. There is a port capacity which is increasing, and navigational challenges, what we are seeing today because of the narrow channels, shallow waters, and outdated navigational systems. And this causes the bottlenecks and slows down the vessel movements. When we say vessel, it is the containers, the ship which is carrying the containers. And now we also see that weather conditions, which also makes a huge impact on the traffic conditions in the water. Now, what is this? How will this impact the trade and the travel to us, right? So there is a delay in cargo deliveries, there is an increased ship cost, and the passenger inconvenience. So when there is a delay in cargo deliveries, what happens is there will be a delay in loading, unloading of the cargoes, impact supplies chains, and this leads to the increased cost for the businesses. Now, increase in shipping cost. What happens here is the congestion related delays results in high fuel operational costs for the shipping companies. Passenger inconveniences, delays in passenger vessels causes disruption to travel plans and inconvenience to the travelers. Moving on to the next slide. Here we talk about the causes and the impact of poor traffic conditions in air. So we know nowadays everybody are traveling, they are visiting the tourism places, they are traveling like anything, right? This is also an impact of urbanization and the globalization, what we have seen. So what happens in air, the causes of the congestion in air is because of the high passenger volume, the increase in number of air travelers places a strain on the airport infrastructure and air traffic control systems. Limited runway capacity, right? So we have a limited runway capacity where we can accommodate, say, n number of flights, but today we are operating at n plus 100 number of flights. So because of this, the runways are always busy, and that is where we see that sometimes even though we have reached the destination, we keep on flying close to the airport so that whenever we get a signal, we will try to land. So these are the delays what we see, what is happening due to the poor air traffic conditions. And then there is weather conditions as well. So adverse weather such as fog, storms, and snow can disrupt the flight schedules. Then there is an airspace restrictions. Military zones and restricted airspace areas limits the routes as well. Now, what is the impact on the passengers here? Again, there is a travel delay, there is an increased operational cost, customer dissatisfaction, because we have seen multiple times whenever we are taking a connecting flights or whatever, either due to the first flight, we will miss the second flight, or we will end up spending more time in airports waiting for the delayed flights. So these are a couple of causes and impacts of poor air traffic conditions. And here is one survey which is been made, okay, by the survey by the company called TomTom Traffic Index. So here the data on the time wasted by the urban cities, right? The metropolitan cities, what we have here, rush hour, during the rush hour, the traffic per year, right? How much a person spends on the road in the traffic is given here for the regions like Latin America, Europe, and Asia, right? You can see Mumbai, a person spends almost at 91 hours, and this data is little 2021s, it's not 2022s. It is not the recent, but if you take the recent, I think we are crossing more than 150 hours spending on the roads. And then India has two cities which are topmost congested cities in the world. One is Bombay and one is Bangalore. This is due to the rise of micro-mobility. When I talk about micro-mobility, we can, what we see is the two-wheelers, right? So we see the huge usage of two-wheelers, the surge of two-wheelers dotting the Indian landscapes. Expect this growth even higher in next 5 years. So this is going to hit even huge on the congestions, okay? And then there is an electric mobility on charge. So nowadays we see that EV vehicles, right, which is the charged vehicles. So the biggest beneficiary of this is even the government is giving the subsidy on our taxes when we buy such vehicles. And because of this, there is a congestion on the road which is happening. And this also is anticipated to hit 66,600 units per year, which will get registered onto the road. So always we are seeing an upward increase in the graph. And there is this quote made by a famous CEO of TomTom survey. So too many people want to drive at the same time in the road network, right? So whenever there is an office time, school times, it is all at the same time, right? So people want to get onto the road on the same time. So this is causing congestion as well. Now, till now we saw the problems, what we are seeing, the causes of it, and the impact of it. Now, the key objective of this would be, what is that we are going to do to reduce this congestion, to minimize the environmental impact, to enhance the safety of the commuter, and how do we improve the efficiency? How do we make sure that commuters are not spending so much time in the traffic? So these would be our key objectives, what we will be discussing. Yeah. So here is this land smart traffic management, right? So here we are talking about three main concepts, which is called optimizing traffic flow, enhancing safety, and environmental impact reduction. So smart traffic management refers to the use of advanced technologies to optimize the flow of traffic and improve the overall efficiency of traffic systems. It aims to reduce the congestions, enhance safety, and lower the environmental impact. Optimizing traffic flow. When we talk about this, it uses an advanced technology to streamline the traffic flow by minimizing the delays and improving the travel time. Enhancing safety. Here we utilize the real-time data, right? When I talk about real-time data, is making sure all the vehicles which are on the road are well connected, and we are taking the real-time data and predict the analysis of the traffic and enhance the road safety of all users. Environmental impact reduction. Implementing the smart traffic solutions help decreasing emissions and environmental impact associated with the vehicle congestion. One such engine which came out was BS6, right? So compared to the previous engines, now every engine is mandated to have this BS6, which will reduce the emission of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide from the vehicles. So every, as I said in the beginning, every company, whether it is a public sector, a private sector, whether they are into production or whatever, whatever they are into, everybody are thinking on what is the impact we are creating to the climate. The sustainability is making a noise in every company, every business, every sector. So moving on to the next slide, here we are talking about the key components. So we spoke about smart traffic, right? So what are the key components of smart traffic? So we are talking about typically these components. They include intelligent traffic signals, connected vehicles, real-time monitoring, and data analytics. These components work together to provide a cohesive approach to managing traffic effectively. So when we talk about intelligent traffic signals, so this adapt to the real-time traffic conditions, improving the traffic flow and reducing the congestions. Then connected vehicles commute with each other and traffic infrastructure, enhancing safety and efficiency of the road. Real-time monitoring systems uses sensors and cameras to gather traffic data, allowing for timely response for traffic conditions. Now we have data analytics. So these are some of the key terms what today which is making noise in the software industry. That is data analytics, machine learning, AI, and okay, these are new technologies which are making enormous sound. So for upcoming students, I think to make sure to come out with some projects related to this would be very good. And then data analytics, process traffic data to identify patterns. So what we do is here, based on the traffic flow, right, we start collecting the data. Okay, and once the data is collected, say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like this, we might collect for a month or 2 months or 3 months, and then we start predicting based on the data what we have collected, we start predicting the traffic. Okay, so that is the data analytics what we are talking about. And this data analytics helps us to channelize the traffic in a better way. So we anticipate, okay, this was the data which we have seen, and predictive model is we can predict that Monday is going to be a huge traffic. We take an action on it. So such things is what data analytics will help us on. And then moving on to autonomous mobility, which is the new norm. So what is this big term called autonomous mobility, the new norm? with the advent of new technologies such as AI, machine learning, computer vision, and robotics, autonomous mobility is no longer in the realm of science fiction. So we have already seen these technologies start to become mainstream, and it will continue to be so as our understanding of its application and expertise in the underlying technologies. So this will allow vehicles to reliably navigate even complex environment with great accuracy, minimal human interventions, thus ensuring the convenience and comfort without compromising on the safety. Okay. And then so currently most vehicles sold with autonomous capability in India and globe come with level 2 and level 3 ADAS features. This means the vehicle can self-adjust the speed, brake whenever necessary, even switch lanes, right? So we have different lanes on the roads. So this feature helps to control the speed, to control your brakes, to change even lanes. But the driver must periodically have the check needs to be done. Okay, but we are still, there are additional levels for this ADAS technology. So we are still at 2 and 3. There are certain countries which have already reached level 5. Okay, and then here we will also talk about the probable march of technology, right? So it's not just AI. So we are talking about AI, yes, but is it just AI which can help us to overcome this? No, definitely not. A cocktail of digital technologies are making an intoxicating case for cars as a computers on wheels. A mix of 5G, advanced robotics, and cobots, the cloud, and the edge computing are also manufacturing quality, streamlining the purchase process, and more technology is equipping industries with an array of functionalities to drive data-driven decision making. Okay, so we are trying to make a data-driven decision making and deliver incredible value. So suddenly the whole idea of vehicles as software on the move isn't far-fetched in the data. So what we are trying to do, as we have learned of software as a technology and all that, right? So there is a technology which is called vehicle as a software itself. So we are not far to reach that date. Then moving on, we will talk about current air traffic control system. So here onwards, what we will see is what is the current technologies which are used in the traffic control and what is it going to be in future. So that is what we are going to learn in upcoming slides. So here, current air traffic control system, we see that efficient aircraft management and how they are doing is in modern air traffic control system. We use satellite technologies for efficient management. And then for collision prevention, these systems are crucial for preventing collisions between aircraft, ensuring the safety. And then we are using optimizing flight paths. Advanced software is used in the air traffic, which controls and optimizes the flight path, reducing the travel time and fuel consumption. And then we are minimizing the delays by managing the air traffic efficiently. These systems help in minimizing delays and enhancing the passenger experience. But what is it going to be in future, right? When there is whatever we spoke about, the smart traffic management and all that, how is it going to be implemented in air traffic management? Now we see that in air traffic management, the benefits or the future, what we see is fuel efficiency. So we have smart air traffic management, which optimizes the flight routes, leading to reduced fuel consumption and lower the operational cost to the airlines. Emission reduction. By optimizing the flight coordination, smart air traffic management reduces the greenhouse gas emission, contributing to the greener environment. And then we have enhanced safety. So improved coordination between the aircraft, reducing the risk of mid-air collisions, and then improved passenger experience, minimizing the delays through better management, enhances the overall experience of the passenger by giving back his time for himself rather than waiting for the flights. Now we will move on to the marine, right? So in marine, we have the current what we are using is automatic identification systems, which is called AIS. So this is the key technology used in the marine traffic management, providing the real-time data on vessels, positions, courses, and speeds. And then we have vessel traffic services, VTS system, which enhances maritime safety for monitoring vessels movements and facilitating. And we have collision avoidance. So this is done in an effective way, traffic management, which helps prevent collisions between the vessels. And we have efficient port operations. These systems improve the efficiency of the port operations, ensuring the smooth cargo handling and reducing the delays. And then in future, the marine is going to have these, which is managing the vessel traffics. The smart traffic management system help manage the increasing the number of vessels on the ocean, ensuring the safety and then environmental sustainability. So the smart traffic management promotes environmental friendly practices in marine transport, minimizing the ecological impact. Right. So whenever we talk on sustainability or any topic on the sustainability, we always talk on what is that we are giving back to the nature. So how is it that we are going to minimize the impact on the ecological systems, right? And then emerging technologies. So we saw what is that is going to create an impact in marine, in the air, on in the land. But what is that emerging technologies which we are looking at, right? So the key emerging technologies what we are looking today is AI, right? The complete artificial intelligence, which is playing a major role in all emerging technologies. So we can leverage the AI into traffic management as well. Now, what we are going to do here is, so we are going to use the revolutionize traffic management by optimizing the routes and improving the safety in transporting systems. ML applications, so machine learning, so algorithms. So we can come out with algorithms, analyze traffic patterns, enabling smart decisions and reducing the congestion in both air and water and land, right? So what we are trying to do here is ML. Using ML, we can come out with the algorithms which can read the patterns of the vessels in the marine or the air or anything, and the algorithm can make the smart decision, right? Smarter decision, which can reduce the congestion. So that is one key application. And then big data analytics, as I spoke before. So we can do we can collect the data and analyze, and data driven approach, right? So we can, based on the data and predictability model, we can go ahead and write the programs such that we can, based on reading the data, we can assess what is the predictability, how is the traffic going to be, how can we avoid this congestion. All that can be done. And we can also influence this traffic signals based on the traffic or based on the congestion. You can even drive the signals, change the signals as well. Okay, so this is one. These are many such projects what we can drive. So I know the current quorum in this meeting are all professors and lecturers from universities, right? So my request is, please encourage students, the current students, to do projects on AI, ML, and big data, right? So what current technology, what industry is looking is also into this, and it would be very good for their project, their resume, and their learning as well. So I would definitely give projects related to this to the team, to the engineers or the students who are graduating or in the final semesters, to take up projects on these would be helpful for them. Then technologies which we will enable is what technologies we would enable on to avoid congestion would be the IoT devices. When we talk about IoT, is Internet on Things, Internet of Things, right? So we make sure the IoT devices are essential for collecting the real-time data, enabling better decision for traffic. So every vehicle which is in motion can be connected to the internet. So internet can help us to drive, to help us with the data. We know we know what we need for the decision making. And then installing the traffic cameras, right? So traffic camera monitoring vehicle flow and congestion, providing vital information for traffic management system. Then we have connected vehicles. So connected vehicles commute with traffic management system, enhancing safety, improving traffic flows. And then we have AI algorithms. AI algorithms, actually what these algorithms do is they analyze the traffic data to optimize traffic lights. So I was talking about changing the traffic lights based on whichever side it is huge traffic, right? So for that decision making on the traffic lights, even that can be driven by AI algorithms and predict the patterns for efficient traffic flow. And next we will talk about IoT and sensor networks. So here we talk about IoT devices, which include traffic sensors, cameras. They continuously gather the data, real-time data of the vehicles in vehicle dynamics. Traffic signal optimization, analyzing the collected data, allows for informed decisions and optimize the traffic signaling, timing, and improve the flow. And then route optimization. So today we see, obviously, I believe everybody would be using Google Maps, right? So Google Maps, when we see our source and destination, obviously we it suggests us 2 or 3 paths, where it will also give us an option stating avoid congestion, right? So it is up to us whether we want to select that avoid congestion or we still want to go ahead with the actual route. So it will also suggest the shortest path, but which takes more time, with congestion, or the longest route without congestion. So it is all purely a data driven, this Google Maps which is working on. So, and this happens with connected vehicles. So connected vehicles commute with each other and with traffic infrastructure. This technology allows for better coordination of traffic flow, enabling features like adaptive traffic signals that respond to the real-time conditions. And then there is vehicle communication, right? So connected vehicles utilize communication technologies and they interact with each other for traffic infrastructure. Okay, so this is one kind of how do we enable this IoT? How do we enable this reducing in congestion? So we need vehicles in motion or vehicle dynamics. They have to be communicating to each other. So this utilizes the communication technology and interact with each other and traffic infrastructure, enhancing the road safety and efficiency. Traffic inflow coordination, right? This technology enables provide traffic inflow coordination by adapting real-time conditions, reducing the congestions on road. Adaptive traffic signals. So as I was talking, so based on the real-time data, the traffic signals can be adaptive. So you, based on AI algorithms, you can always have an adaptive traffic signals. So we have the next slide, which talks about role of AI and big data, right? So here, what we do is we talk about real-time analytics. So AI and big data provide real-time analytics that helps traffic managers monitor and manage traffic flows effectively. We have predictive model. There are different models today, which is available from be it DeepSeek, be it Llama 3, that is the OpenAI. So all these models are freely available. So encourage the kids to use this, or the students to use this models, which are artificial intelligence predictive models. And I mean, it is very easy to use, and even it helps in writing code as well. So all that the students should be aware is, how are they supposed to give the prompts, right? What is that prompting they are supposed to give to get the right data from the predictive model or the AI open sources. So that's one key thing what we can request the students to explore on. So predictive modeling uses AI to forecast traffic patterns, trends, allowing for proactive traffic management strategies. And then we have improving safety by leveraging AI and big data. Traffic managers can enhance road safety and reduce the accidents, though through informed decision making. Optimizing resource allocation. So AI and big data again assist in optimizing the resource allocation for traffic management, ensuring the efficiency of available resources. Now we will talk about what are the benefits of using the smart traffic, right? Smart traffic management. So when we use the smart traffic, obviously what we see is first and foremost is reduced traffic congestion. So this effectively reduces the traffic congestion by optimizing the traffic inflow and minimizing the delays. Decreased travel times. So this helps in reducing the congestion, significantly shortening our travel time and for the commuters and residents. Lowering emission. So this is very important because the impact on ecology or our ecosystem is less, so that it improves the urban air quality. So we know what is happening in Delhi, right? So whenever there is an winter season or Deepavali which comes, we obviously know there is a news in Delhi which says the air quality has reduced and people are unable to breathe. So all this is coming, and it will slowly flow to Bangalore, Calcutta, everywhere, because the globalization, urbanization, industrialization, it is multiplied to square times, right? And then we see that enhanced road safety. So implementing smart road can lead to fewer accidents and increase safety on road users. So efficiency in public transport. So improve the efficiency in public transport, making them more reliable and user friendly. Better infrastructure utilization of existing infrastructure. So whatever infrastructure we have, so that should be made a better, we should make a better utilization of that by using smart traffic management, reducing the need for costlier expansion and enhancements. And then we can also talk about, here is the, what I see is, yes, these are all good things, and we have everything in place, but we also have challenges. So any topic we talk on will have pros as well as cons. So till now we spoke on positivity of implementing the smart traffic management and all that, but we also have to assess the challenges on how to implement, or if we know how to implement, what will be the challenges, right? So what we see here is there is a high implementation cost. The initial cost of implementing this smart traffic management system can be very high, posing a barrier, right? It can be an gate for us for implementing this, especially for India specific, because we are still in a developing nation, right? So we see that as a barrier. And then we have data privacy concerns, where, so when we talk about connecting the vehicles or putting the real-time data, right? So not many people would be aware or would like to share their data. And also one is sharing data, but what would be the privacy of the data, right? So how confidential the data will be retained. Now today we know, obviously we give our phone number, our mail IDs to bank. Apart from bank, other than that, it is only our relatives who will have our number. But how is that we are getting a call from so many advertisement companies, right? So that clearly states that the data privacy is not up to the mark. So there will be concerns in data sharing. And then but we need protection for our personal information, right? So that's a significant concern what we have. And then we have need for collaboration, right? The successful implementation requires collaboration among various stakeholders, including the government agencies, tech companies, and the public. So we see these three would be the major stakeholders for implementing this smart traffic management. And then moving on to the future trends in traffic management, right? So what we see in the future trend is like it basically it will include increased automation, enhanced connectivity, and integration of smart technologies, leading to improved safety, efficiency, and sustainability. Also, to include greater integration of AI, ML, and then expansion of smart city initiatives, right? So expanding the cities not only at the center but across, right, or moving little beyond the city would also help. That is where we see today smart cities are picked up in not in the urban but towards the rural areas, right? So, and by doing this, the city can manage the traffic and improve the urban mobility. And then when we talk about increased automation, what is that we are going to enhance here? So the enhancement which will happen here is more on the operational efficiency and reduce human error, right? When we say increased in automation, that means we are utilizing a technology to which is automated technology, and obviously because of this there is a reduction in human intervention. For example, let me talk to you on this. So whenever we are crossing the highways or state borders, obviously we see we are paying toll, we are waiting in the queues, we are waiting in long queues in the toll, especially when there is a holiday on a Monday or a Friday. If we take a path from Bangalore to say Hosur, Tiruvannamalai, or Vellore, you believe me or not, we spend minimum 1 hour to 1.5 hours on the toll gate near this Bangalore, just outside the Bangalore, on the this toll. Okay, so that means the people who want to travel are more, yes, but what is it stopping us? Though we have an high technology of using the scanners for deducting the money for using the toll, right? But even then there is an traffic. That's because we do not have an efficient system. When I say efficient system, today in Singapore, if we see, it is clearly the roads are based on your vehicle movement, right? The technology is such that there are no toll gates, nothing. So you just have to cross that road. There are inbuilt cameras in the road itself, on the just above the road, which will scan your this vehicle number, and it will detect directly. So you need not stop on the road for paying the toll or getting it scanned. So that is what we see increased in automation, right? Just scanning through the camera, they should be able to make it smooth. So that's one point. And then moving on to the enhanced connectivity, right? So improved connectivity among transportation system will facilitate real-time data sharing, better coordination, and modes of transportation. Integration of smart technologies. So adoption of smart technologies will lead to significant improvement in safety and sustainability within traffic management. Then we have something called connected vehicles and V2X, right? What is meant by V2X? Vehicle, connecting vehicle to everything, right? Everything stands for X. So this is V2 everything. Communication is reshaping the traffic management landscape. These technologies, it's a technology, communication technology, which is used. So this enable vehicles to communicate with each other with traffic infrastructure, providing valuable data to optimize the traffic inflow. And we have sustainability mobility solutions. So here what happens is data analytics, here what happens is, with the growing emphasis on sustainability, right? So as I said, any job we do, we should keep in mind of what is that we are going to give back to the environment. So what is that we are going to retain it to for our future generations. So sustainability, the traffic management system market is witnessing a shift towards supporting eco-friendly modes of transportation. So today we know there are many apps which has come out where people are sharing their commutes, right? So we have there are, at least in places like Bangalore, we have something like Go On Vehicle or some apps like this, where I register. Say I have to travel from say from Mahadevpura to my office, which is in Ecospace. So I can register with that with my one of the ID proof, and they will also, if I have vehicle, I can also register to that, and I will decide my source and destination. Okay. And if anybody, any other commuter who wants to join me, would have registered to that app, and on the way the app will give a notification to the driver, the person who is driving the car, which states that this person would want to join from this place to this place, would you okay to stop? So this path will be this path as what a person would be commuting itself. So there is no deviation or nothing like that, but in the same path, people who wants to go. So such apps are there in Bangalore today, which are helping, and people are taking it. So there is an app where people use even two-wheelers as well, and four-wheelers also, if you want to commute in a group, or if you want to commute singly also, there's an apps. So that is what we say sustainability mobility solutions, where it is more friendly modes of transportation integrating with the public transportation system as well. And here we say bike sharing, car sharing, pedestrian friendly environment initiatives, and cycle paths, right? So one is in fact, there was an initiative in Bangalore where they laid a cycle path separately. So couple of areas have that, but it is not come fully implemented as well. So that would be an environmental friendly initiatives as well. So next we have we talk about data analytics for decision making. So this is an emerging technology and as a powerful tool, right? So today everybody are connected to cloud, right? So I use my mobile, I'm connected to cloud. I use my Amazon Prime, I use my Netflix, I'm connected to cloud. So anything and everything, the data is being shared. I use Facebook, I use Twitter, so all our data is residing on cloud today. Okay. So with cloud connectivity, right? So when we connect ourselves to cloud, there is a huge data about each person. What is that? Even in fact, whatever I talk is getting recorded. Now say I'm talking about this traffic management to you guys, and my phone is listening to me. Okay. Whenever I go back and see, for example, if I open an YouTube, the ads or the advertisements or the videos which loads to me would be on traffic management. So everything is connected. So that much data is residing on the cloud. So this data analytics is a technology which helps us to analyze the cloud residing data. Okay. And it will help us to make the decision based on the data itself, be it my usage, right? So whatever, even if I do Google search, it is stored in the cache. And when I say stored in the cache, obviously it is at the mobile end. At the same time, it will be loaded in the cloud also, right? So these data which has been collected and stored in cloud are used for analytics, and then this is becoming very powerful tool in traffic management. This offers insights that enable informed decision. By leveraging big data analytics, traffic authorities can identify the traffic trends, assess the impact of interventions, and they can make the data-driven adjustments to optimize the traffic inflow. And then moving on to integration of AI. So as I have been telling, AI and ML will play a crucial role in prioritizing the traffic, optimizing the traffic flow, and reducing the congestions in the urban areas. So smart city initiatives, the expansion of smart cities initiatives will enhance transportation infrastructure, fostering better connectivity and improved mobility. So we see even across you might see the state highways, the national highways, everything is getting expanded, as well as the infrastructure is getting better, right? So today in Bangalore, if I I'm quoting example as Bangalore because I have been residing here. So we have something called inner ring road, we have something called outer ring road, we have something called peripheral ring road. So what are these intention is the traffic inflows. Say, for example, if there are the huge luggages or the huge production materials which has to move, say, from city to city, right? So they need not go via the congested place of Bangalore city. They can always take an peripheral ring road. They can always take an outer ring road. So they need not come inside the city. So the traffic channelization happens when the smart city initiatives happen, right? And we are also trying to put the population or expand the population across different places rather than at the core area, right? So these ideas and these smart city initiatives at the rural areas will help in better connectivity, better infrastructure, getting the less on traffic congestions in the urban areas. And then we have development of autonomous vehicles, right? So the rise of autonomous vehicle will transform traffic management, leading to safer and more efficient road usage. So one more important thing which I wanted to talk to you is I spoke to you also was on the Singapore, right? So we know Singapore is a developed country and it's a very small country. So Singapore is what they have already using this smart traffic management. So how are they using? So Singapore is widely considered leading country in implementing the smart traffic management system, utilizing the advanced technology and sensors to significantly reduce congestion and improve traffic flow throughout the city state. Other countries actively deploy. Okay, there are other countries also which are actively trying to deploy basically the smart traffic systems, which includes the US states like New York City, Paris, and various cities in Spain and Latin America. So this sustainability, especially when we talk about sustainability, it was something which came up from European countries. Okay, they are very much connected to their nature. So any product, for example, if you even go to buy a fridge, a mixer, a TV, so they say it is energy eco-friendly. They say it is Energy Star, Energy 4-star, Energy 5-star. So just give it a thought, go back and see what those energy stars mean. Okay, so instead of using so much of power, it will they say it consumes less power, right? So and these are eco-friendly implementations, eco-friendly technologies which are getting integrated to even our day-to-day usage of items. Okay, so even if you see the fridge, right, whatever refrigerator we buy, they say it is an eco-friendly refrigerator. And even mixer, 750 watts we buy, yes, but they say it is 3-star, 4-star rated. It's not about rating. They say or U-plot or U-lot. So there are European countries which take a product only if it is agreed on certain rules and regulations of their sustainability. Okay, so today even the products which are even for example the printer, right? So we always go for duplex printing. That means printing front and back of a page, not only on the first page, right? So we want to utilize even the paper on the both sides. So that is the default option which is checked, which is told as energy saving. So any product we buy today is also a sustainability related product. Even cars, for that matter, as I was talking, BS6 engines, and then we are looking at EV electric vehicles, right? They are all inclined to the sustainability. Yeah. So the key points about Singapore traffic system is what they do is they extensively use of sensors, electronic road pricing. Okay, this is what I was talking about. When we say that they have some sensors in the road, as well as they have placed sensors on the advertisement boards, what they put it on roads, right? So these sensors help to track the vehicle which is traveling on that road, and if they have to collect the toll, they collect right in the sensors itself. So nobody is supposed to stop for the toll gate to scan and then move. No, the scanning happens at the real time. The scanning happens on the go. So this is what is called as electronic road pricing. And they also have data sharing. So the notable AI powered traffic control initiatives in India also we have. So one such example is Pune Express Way Intelligent Traffic Management System, which is ITMS. Maharashtra's Pune Express has launched an AI powered ITMS, marking a milestone in traffic safety and efficiency. Yes, India also is getting into smart traffic management. And yes, as I talked about, there are challenges in implementing it, but we are trying to overcome, and we are building a nation with smart traffic management. And then to conclude upon this topic is this so smart traffic management, which we spoke about, land, water and air. So this is essential, very essential, to ensure that we have safety, we have efficiency, we have sustainability in transportation. And as technology continues to evolve, right, the potential for improved traffic systems will grow. Okay, so as technology is improving, obviously to improve technology we need people, we need, obviously there will be an globalization, there will be urbanization which will happen, and because of this obviously there will be improved there will be traffic which will increase. And with this technology itself, we should have an potential for improved traffic systems, okay, that will grow and benefit industries, environment, cities, which can look forward to have an improved traffic flow and increased safety. So what is the importance of traffic management system? So this helps basically to ensure the safety and efficiency in transportation in all modes of commute, right? Whether you are on land, whether you are on air, or you are on a marine drive. And then technology evolution, what we are seeing today, it's a potential for improving the traffic system in various industries increase significantly, enhancing the overall efficiency. We are also will reap the benefits of environment, so which can be more sustainable. We can have more sustainable transportation options benefiting both industries as well as environment. And there is an urban mobility challenges. So addressing urban mobility challenges is essential for modern city planning, and this can be achieved by having the smart cities across close to the urban cities towards the rural areas. So this has been my topic for today. Hope I was clear. I mean, my voice was clear in the communication. And please do let me know if you have any questions. Lata ma'am?
Mamta, I'm here only. Thank you for your
Yeah.
wonderful session on traffic management, the smart traffic management, how it has to be controlled down, how it is implemented in our country itself. Participants, do you have any questions? You can post it in chat box also.
Yeah, I can just see the chat
No
box as well.
question. No question. Is there any videos you want to show us?
Yeah, I have videos. Okay, I can show you. So let me
More
know.
people working since the Great Recession. That means more people on the road during your morning commute.
And new research out this morning shows just how bad our traffic congestion really is. Mimi Jung joining us now with more. Mimi?
Stephen Joy, sorry to start your day with some bad news about traffic. Kirkland-based INRIX just released this global traffic scorecard. So here's what they found. More Americans are spending more time in their car, SUV, or truck. They've surpassed 3.2 trillion miles traveled last year, which is a record high. Now, Seattle is in the top 10, coming in at number 9. Tacoma is 16th, and Portland has the 12th worst traffic. Not only are we traveling more, we are stuck in traffic more. Commuters in Seattle lose an extra 55 hours a year on the road. The report also found that extra time stuck in traffic costs each driver $1,853. So who has it in Western Washington? Actually, drivers in Everett, because of the infrastructure in that area, drivers there are stuck an extra 31 hours in traffic congestion a year. So who's the worst in the country for traffic congestion? No surprise here, LA is at the top of the list, not getting any.
Yeah. So I have
You can't lead others until you are leading.
Thousands of
yourself.
commuters got stuck
But
for
are
hours
you
as
really
traffic
leading
piled up in
yourself?
Bengaluru's electronic city
Personality
on Wednesday.
development is a crucial
The chaos
component
was
of
such that a
success
few
in the
techies
world.
decided to step out of their vehicles and walk back home as the traffic did not seem to be moving. On Wednesday evening, another round of heavy rain battered Bengaluru, and it led to waterlogging in several areas. The traffic police closed down one side of Electronic City flyover due to waterlogging. This led to massive traffic jams in the Electronic City stretch, and commuters had to wait on roads for more than 2 hours. Meanwhile, the Karnataka government had already advised private companies to allow employees to work from home, as there could be traffic snarls on October 23rd. Social media was flooded with complaints from frustrated commuters. One of the users wrote on X that the traffic on the Electronic City flyover was at a standstill for over 2 hours. The downpour had caused waterlogging at key entry and exit points, making driving difficult and slowing traffic. The user also mentioned that commuters were frustrated as this route is a major connection for those traveling to Bengaluru's IT hub. Another user wrote that the situation was so bad that if there is a medical emergency, there is no chance of survival.
Now, top focus on News Point this morning. The Panama Canal, a vital lifeline for global trade, is currently grappling with its worst traffic jam ever. Let's tell you more. Now, the canal has become a traffic jam of the seas. In total, 200 vessels are stuck on either side of the waterway. Well, the commercial ships are facing long queues and delays to travel through the Panama Canal, as a lengthy drought in the Central American country has led to a cut in the number of vessels that can actually pass the crossings every day. The extended dry season has led to waterways entrances also being dotted with a log jam of ships awaiting their turn. Meanwhile, as of now, the officials have reduced the number of vessels passing the canal to 32 from 36. Now, let's also now tell you how the traffic jam in Panama Canal has caused commodities prices to rise. Well, the financial cost of the vessel is estimated to be around $200,000 per day for each vessel that is stuck at the canal. The traffic jam at the canal is also causing pressure on prices of the consumer goods to rise. Now, the delays because of the traffic jam and the extra fees is also adding to the shipping costs. Meanwhile, apart from this, drought is also making it expensive to move the goods. And the traffic jam is ultimately leading to higher price tags for consumer and industrial goods. Meanwhile, look at the visuals right now. the current traffic jam at the Panama Canal has become the heart of global attention. The ships are facing dire circumstances, depleting supplies both in terms of food and water for the crew. Now, despite the complexity and the enormity of the challenge, the officials at the Panama Canal are actively seeking resolutions. They are exploring alternatives like constructing a new reservoir to augment the canal's water supply.
Yes, Lata ma'am. So a couple of videos which I wanted to share to the team to understand the congestions and how it is going to impact all of us, right?
Yeah.
First and foremost, financially and in every other way. So, yeah, thanks, Lata.
Thank you, Mamta. Thank you for your contribution to our ATL FDP program for this session. Thank you once again.
Thanks to the I wanted to thank university as well as Jyoti, who has been my mentor, and also you, Lata ma'am, for helping on the coordination. And I'm extremely sorry for the initial hiccups which happened. Sorry
No
for that.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so
I
much.
extend my thanks to Mrs. R. Vidya, Assistant Professor of Dakshashila University, and Prasanna Kumar, Assistant Professor of Dakshashila University, for their coordination to the ATL Faculty Development Program. And also I thank all the participants who are participating in our ATL Faculty Development Program for past 4 days, and today this is the 5th day, and tomorrow is the 6th day where we'll end the ATL Faculty Development Program. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining. Thank you so much.
Participants, feedback link has been posted in the chat box. Kindly fill it. And tomorrow the sections will be starting at 2 p.m. So I'll be posting the link, and there will be we'll be conducting the assessment. So kindly all be on time. Thank you.
Vidya, have you given the instruction that they should score minimum 70%, and then
That's all.
minimum is 80%, and then only the ATL will provide the certificate.
Yeah, ma'am. I'll be posting it in the WhatsApp group, ma'am.
Yeah.
You want me
fine.
to note it here, ma'am?
Yeah, you make a note here in this meeting link as well as in the WhatsApp group.
Okay, ma'am.
Because they will not get the certificate if they are not fulfilled all this criteria.
Yeah, ma'am. I'll inform now. Can I, ma'am, now? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, proceed.
Okay. Participants, tomorrow we'll be having 3 sections, and finally we are going to end up with our ATL FDP 6 days. So thank you for your all coordination. So tomorrow also I expect the same. We have a validatory function, and through that we'll be having the assessment link posted in the chat box. So you have to complete that assessment. Then in that assessment you should get 70%, and your attendance is 80%. And also you should individually fill the feedback in the ATL portal. In your login, you have to log in the ATL portal individually, and you have to fill the feedback. There will be the feedback icon. There, if you click, you can see some questions, and they'll be asking the resource person. That all, if you have completed, all these procedures, if you have done, then you'll be getting the certificates. Then only you'll be getting the certificates. That I want to make a note. By Sunday, we will be completing your attendance percentage in the portal. You can view. We have done it for some only today. We'll complete by Sunday. So on our side, we will be doing all such things, and we also share. I'll in a short while of time, I'll be sharing the PPT. All the PPTs I'm consolidating, and I'll make it as a drive, and I'll post the link so that you can download all everything. You can have the reference of all the section PPTs. So if you have any queries, you can post it in the WhatsApp group. I will be responding you. So now you can fill it, and after that you can leave. Is that okay, ma'am? Lata ma'am?
Yeah, it's okay. All we have informed them, then it's
Okay.
up to them to
Okay.
complete
Thank
the assessment. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.